Hi, this is Giri Ramakrishnan, your Distrib360 contact. Today I'll be doing a demo of the Distrib360 sales analytics system. The focus of my demo would be how you as a customer would go ahead and be able to do in-depth sales related analytics using the Distrib360 system. So this is the login screen for the Distrib360 system. Let's enter our ID and password. So this is the first screen that you would see when you enter the system. I'll just briefly tell you how to navigate this screen. There are two types of analysis that you do with the Distrib360 system. One is you do what's called click and use analytics, and second is on-demand analytics. Now, when you click on these browse files, that will take you to the click and use reporting analytics, and when you actually click on create new, that will take you to the on-demand analytics. The other things that you see here is recents out here would actually keep all of those recently opened reports that you open up when you are working on the click and use reports. And similarly, some of the reports you want as favorites, you can actually go ahead and tag them as favorites, and they'll show here. I'll show these in as we go along. So let's get started. So click on reports here. Now what you see here is, I have a comprehensive list of about 32 reports over here. And the way these are organized is you see sales out here. These are all different sales related reports. And then you see things like top end reports. Again, these are reports which are, which give you something like top 10 customers, top 10 products and so on and so forth. These are again sales related reports. Then you have performance related reports, which is how did a salesperson perform. So these are again sales related reports. Then you have reports which pertain to payments and collections. You have tagged as collections, and similarly reports which pertain to invoices. So that's what constitutes all of these 32 reports. The focus of my demo today will be sales analytics. So I will be focusing on all the sales related reports out here. I have a separate video that I've done for the invoice and payments related analytics. So let's get started on this. One of the best ways in which you can start off or look at sales is these top end reports. So the top end customers, what it would show you is it will actually go ahead and give you things like, say, through last year, who were my top 10 customers, top 5 customers, and so on and so forth. So let's just click on that, double click. So this is by default, it's showing you the top 3 customers for the current week. I'll just go ahead and change the time period. As you see, there are lots of different time periods that you can select from here. So for the current year, now it's showing top 3 reports. Let me change it to top 10 reports. So what you see here is a report which has tabular type data showing my top 10 customers for this current year, starting with this Murugan department stores and then going on till the 10th one, which is the Selvam department stores. So you have tabular data, and you also obviously have a bar chart out here, so graphical data. So most of the these reports, you would actually find that there is same format. You have a tabular as well as a graphical format, but obviously it depends on the nature of the report too. So some reports which are more list type reports will probably have only the tabular type of data. The other thing with these reports is what you see here on top is filters. So pretty much all the different reports would have some similar style. So there would be these filters out here. And the output type that you see here right now is a HTML. You have a number of other possibilities for output. You have what's called HTML single page, which is when your report is really long, then you can click on this and use this output type. Otherwise, PDF is a very good style for looking at and viewing your report. So when you view something as a PDF, then you can obviously do lots of things. You can kind of take this report, you can go ahead and print it, or you could also go ahead and download it. And when you download it, you can actually go ahead and open it, and again you would be able to do a lot of things with these reports. So like I said, almost all the reports would have a series of filters, and it's a similar style. Similarly, you would be able to also export this data into a Excel if need be. I'll just show you a sample. So let's open this Excel report. So this is how it looks in terms of Excel, but maybe this particular report you may not really want in Excel, but there are other tabular list type reports which you may want to port to Excel, and then later on we will work with the data in Excel depending on how comfortable you are with Excel. Let me just close it. The other feature you have in this top-end report is being able to filter based on town. Now, this is the list of towns that it shows out here is the list of towns where you've made your sales. Now, this particular customer is based out of Chennai. So all these name of these towns are in Chennai. Now, depending on wherever you are that you're selling and your customer locations, those are the towns that would show up out here. So you would be able to go ahead and filter, say, based on your town. In this case, you're seeing the top customers in that particular town. So this is one report. Let's just go to a couple of other top-end reports. Now, say you want to look at how your products sold, and similar to the customers, you want to look at your top 10 or top 5 products and how they sold during the past year. So you can actually use the top end products. Now all these reports obviously are similar. So it's like, once you know one, then it's really easy for you to actually use, because it's pretty much the same. So let's select year. Select top 10. And let's select PDF. So this report is giving you the top 10 products that were sold during the current year. So when you look at these reports, try and imagine in terms of your data and your products and your customers, so that will relate to you more. Now let's just go ahead and see what other types of analysis you can do. Now what you see here is I have a number of top-end reports out here. The basic objective of these top-end reports is you're trying to view your sales process here from different components that make up that particular sales process. So customer is a component that makes up the sales process. Similarly, product is a component that makes up that sales process. And similarly, say, deals that you give to customers. So, you may be selling at 2% discount or 5% discount. So say you want to know how your different deals or promotions did during last year, then this would be a good report for you to go to. So let's again select this full year and see the top 10 deals. And then let me go to PDF. This particular data did not have 10 deals. It's got 3 and 7 deals out here. And essentially what it's showing you is the deal with no discount sold maximum, then the one with 2% discount sold next, and so on and so forth. So again, what you see is that these top-end reports really give you a pretty much, at a high level, they will be able to tell you how your business is doing in terms of all these different components. So that's one view of your data. Now let's look at another type of report, which is these performance reports. So again, performance reports similar, but it's giving you a different view. So let's look at how your salesperson performed during, say, last 1 year. There seems to be some issue with this query. So let me just, go back and maybe take a different one right now. Let's say we look at performance from the standpoint of how your, say, brands did, different brands that you're selling, the product brands. I have no idea why there was a problem there. I need to check on that one. But this one, again, same thing. You can go ahead and change to current year, and I can change it back, say, to PDF. So in this case, these are, Lipton, Britannia, these are all the different brands of products that are there for this particular customer. So it's kind of showing you how the brand contribution was during the past year. So Lipton sold the highest with 17%, and similarly Kellogg was close. Again, percentage wise, that shows 17 too. And I mean, Britannia is again 17, and Kellogg is 15%. So what you saw here is, again, another view of doing your analytics. So it's more in terms of looking at things from a percentage kind of a perspective is what these the performance-based reports are giving. Maybe let's just look at one more performance-based report. This is based on, say, town contribution. Like you're selling to your customers, and your customers are based in different towns in your city or wherever they are. Then this would kind of break it down in terms of the individual towns and show you sales in terms of towns. Yeah. So as you see, these are different views in which you're looking at your sales data. Now let's go to another type of report. This one is more of the sales related reports. This is more of the day-to-day management type reports. So say, for example, you want to know the list of orders for this week, or list of orders for past 14 days, or list of orders for maybe this month or this quarter. Then this is that type of report. So now what it has provided you here is for the current week, whatever the orders that you have for the current week is what it's showing you. Let me actually again change it and maybe see this year. What are all the orders for this year? So same thing, can change it to PDF. I prefer PDF, so that's why I normally change things to PDF. And so it's showing you all the list of orders for this current year. So the total actually of all the orders is about 201,838. The other thing which you have in this list is, this is now sorted based on order number. You are able to sort based on a lot of other fields. So let's say the highest ordered amount, if you wanted to look at for this last year. So there's a order number 177, about 7,800 rupees. So this is providing information more at a summary level. Now, if you wanted to go in and look at details of an order, you have what's called detailed orders. So again, let me just change it to PDF here. So let me just go back to this list of order, change it to maybe current week, so we can cross compare a order which is here in summary and an order otherwise. And let's just sort it by order number. So we have this order number 288, Jana Department Store, which is your more or less the last order that is there in your system. Now I go to detailed orders. I should probably have this. I'll have the same one because again this is sorted by order number. And in the detailed order, you are able to look in terms of more further information. So you kind of come to know who the sales rep was and more in terms of the contact person for that particular order and details of all of the complete order. So that's what the detailed order actually provides you. But otherwise, it's the same in terms of it will take the entire detailed order and then give you a running total in terms of, for in this case, this week, the total orders is 5,912. So overall, with regards to these click and use reports, these are the kind of two types of reports in sales. One is these top end reports, which are kind of looking at your sales, different components of your sale and giving you that big picture, saying my top 10 customers, my top 10 deals. So you kind of get to know the answer to the question, how is my business doing? How did it do last week? How did it do last month? How did it do through last 1 year? And similarly, the same type of question for when you're looking at it from a performance angle, but more it's showing information based on percentages. What was the contribution of sales by this particular brand, by Lipton, to my overall sales during this last year? So that's the kind of answer you're getting. And these list of orders and detailed orders are more for a day-to-day management type stuff. So you know your list of orders currently there, and you can kind of go ahead and look in terms of how to fulfill them and so on and so forth. So let's just close all these. Yeah. Again, as I said, all the orders or anything that you opened up will then show up or fall into this recents list. One more thing is, let's just go here. Say if we took this list of orders and I said, this is something I want to look at every day. So, I add it to my favorites. Then you go back here and you see. So the list of orders is available to you as favorites. So you don't have to, actually come in and every day traverse through this. You can just go to your favorites and double click and you will get details in terms of whatever you want. So that's why that's the job of keeping things in favorites. So let's again close this. So just to recap, so this kind of covers all of the click and use sales related reports. There are a couple of reports which are summary reports overall, so I won't go into them right now. And the other reports here are invoice related reports and payments related reports. Now, details of these I have actually gone ahead and I've covered in a separate video which talks about how to do payments analytics. So let me now just go to the next type of analytics that you can do. This is on-demand analytics. Now, the difference between click and use and on-demand analytics is obviously in on-demand, you are able to go ahead and create your own report. So that's the primary difference between click and use and on-demand. So there's an option here. Again, this is the first screen that you see, and the tool that we use is actually called Psychoanalytics. So it allows you to do this on-demand analytics. Now, on the left-hand side, what you see is you have selection for different types of analytics that you can do. So you're able to do sales, payments, and invoice. So our focus is sales. So I'll just click sales. And on the left-hand side, what you now see is, when you do your analysis, obviously you're trying to measure something. So in this case, we'll try to measure our revenues or sales, and we'll try to measure our quantity or volumes sold. So that's the two measures we have. Then you have, you're going to measure based on what. So let's say you want to see, time period. So you want to measure based on this year, what was my sales, this month, what was my sales, and so on and so forth. So this is the measure based on what. So you can measure based on time period. You can measure based on all of the other components which affect your sales process. So as we go along, as I show the reports, we'll go more into detail in terms of all the other dimensions out here. So let's just, and when you click here, what happens is the click, it immediately falls to the right, and this is the screen where everything will show. So let's just, I've selected my revenue as my measure, then I click here. Now what you have here is immediately, this is showing you the yearly revenues, for every year. So 2018 certain revenue, 2017 certain revenue, and so on and so forth. Let me just click month out here. Now it's gone ahead and divided it, that particular revenue, and showing me for every month whatever my sales was. So the key difference, even right now, if you see between this and the click and use reports, is in the click and use reports you can say, last 1 year how much was my sales, or those type of questions. But this one is going to give you more comparison, easy comparison of this month, last month, January, February, March. These type of comparison you're able to do much more easily when you do use this particular on-demand analytics tool. So let me, just to show you how easy it is, let me again reset this query. So for you to go ahead and find out what was my monthly sales in 2018, that's the question. Select your measure, then select your year. So now it's given me yearly sales, every year sales, but my focus is going to be 2018. Select month. It's given me 2018 out here in all of the different months and sales for each of these months. Now, but if my focus is 2018, then I can go into this here and actually do what's called a filter. Click on this, and it only brings back my 2018 sales. So it's showing me by different months, it's showing me all of the different sales for each of those months. So this month-to-month comparison, these type of things are much more easier out here. Now what we'll do is we'll just go further on this report and see what are all the different things that you're able to go ahead and do. So let's kind of go ahead and see, we see this number 52,000 as a sale. Let's try and see who were all the customers who gave these orders. That's where these other dimensions come into play. So I go here and I select my, in this case customer is a store, so that's why it shows a store. If in your business model it's more of a customer, then it will show as customer out there. So I click there and immediately the customer shows up here, but our store shows up here. So I can just go ahead and actually move it here so it looks better for me. So now what it's showing me is for every month it's showing me all of the different customers and what their orders was. So that was again one click, and I was able to immediately get the orders for every customer in a given month in 2018. Now let's just go ahead and see what actually a customer might have given 2 or 3 orders. So let's go ahead and see the individual orders for maybe, let's again zoom in and take 1 month. So let's say we want to see June 2018, we want to see all of the different orders that are there in this particular month. So now what we have to do is we just have to go here to the left, and so click this order number. Again, one is if you click here, then it goes here. I'll also show you can actually just directly bring it and put it in here. So now what you have here is all these different orders, order numbers, and these are the customers, and this was the total order amount. So let's make it more interesting and see what are the products that was ordered. as part of this order number. So let me just take this product from the product dimension and then put it in here. So immediately it's showing me, again, for the month of June, it's showing me the order with the products, and it's also showing me whatever the sales of each of those products was. We can just, for make it interesting, we can add the quantities for those products which were sold. The other thing that we can do when you have something like this is, now you can actually go here and do the total, let's say the total for all the orders for that particular month. So I just went here and I had a way to do a grand total. So which is what I did. And so it's about 20,000 rupees is the total orders for the month of June 2018. Now, let's say I want to actually know what was the total of each of these order amounts. Then I can go in here into this order number, and then there's a field here. Click in here. Now these are things where, again, we'll be giving you training in terms of how to use it. My focus right now is just to show you what is possible as part of sales analytics that you do. But this is quite simple, it's just that it's more of a one-time training, and once you get used to it, then it's easy to drive. It's because these tools are made primarily for you to drive. So what I have here is, I've gone ahead and actually created a report myself, which is giving me 2018 June sales and June all of the different orders for 2018. So this is kind of as easy as that, the ability to create a report. Now, what are the other things that you can do when you actually go ahead and create a report like this is, you can go ahead and save this report. So you'll have a folder for every username. In this case it was just one. You'll have a folder. You can go ahead and actually save 2018 June orders. Now once I've made this report and I've saved it, what it actually makes it possible for me is, next time actually when I come in and when I'm trying to browse files, then in this dist1 folder, that report will already be existing. I can actually just go ahead and double click and view the report. So I don't have to even go ahead and maybe create the report, but I can view whatever reports I already have. So depending on the data that is available, it show up all of that data. So that's one thing. So this is one query. We just went ahead and created a report, and we also saw how we can save it and reuse it. Let me just try and do some other reports now. So let's just clear this. And again, let's try and do a new report. So let's select revenue again, and let's select year. So it's again showing me by year all of the sales. Then by month, it's showing me all of the different sales. Now there's something interesting that you can do. Now you see this number 36,000, any number in between. Now if you want to actually go ahead and know what is this number actually made up of, so you have the ability to do what's called drill through, means the ability to go into that number and then see how that number came about. So let me show you how that works. So this one, click this thing which is called drill through, and then click to your number, come to your number, click it. Now let's see what was that number made up of. That number is made up of some set of order numbers. So some set of orders, and that orders are for some customers, and the order is for some products which those customers purchased, and there is some revenue and some quantity. So click OK. Now what it's showing me is that a number that we saw is actually made up of all of these orders, and these were the customers who purchased those orders, and these were the products that were bought. So the real ability is the ability to go into a number and see what it's made up of. That's the analytics that you can do. So that's actually a very interesting feature, and it is very useful in many cases. Now let's just clear this up and try and start another query. Yeah, maybe again, let's do year and let's do month, and let's maybe just for focus, let's get to our 2018, the current year. Now, few things that you can do with this data again is you are able to take this data and again, let me say, with this data again, like I showed you before, you are able to do a sum, so you get the total for that year. But other than that, you are able to actually take this particular data, and for people who are comfortable with Excel, they can go ahead and export this data to Excel. So now any data, so this is more tabular data. So some customers might want to go into Excel and then work on Excel further because they're more comfortable with Excel. So this is one way in which you can take your data and go to Excel and do your work. The other thing is you would also be able to export it to a PDF. So that same data got exported to a PDF. So those are two other nice features. As you do your analytics, those are something which can come in handy. So let me just reset this. Now this time let's look at some other dimensions and view our sales data. So let's say we want to view we want to see sales by salesperson for 2018. For what kind of sales they did. So the key really here is you all these different dimensions that you see, you are able to then actually go select there, and then the field comes in and you're able to do analysis. So I'll show you this one, and then as we go further you'll see. So what I have here is for all my entire data right now, this is showing me sales by salesperson. But what I want for the current year, for 2018, I want to see sales by salesperson. So let me go back here and select year. So this is showing me, as you see, for all the years. So I can go back and filter for 2018. And so right now this is showing me now 2018 how my salesperson performed different sales. Let's say I don't want to see the year on top 2018, so I can pull it and put it into this filter. So it's still showing me the 2018, but it won't show me that particular year out here. The other things you can do are, like I said previously, you can do a total. And let's say you want to order these, you want to get who's the top performing salesperson and come down. So you can sort it descending by revenue. So now Balakrishnan is the one who is top performing, and Rohit Tandon is next, and so on and so forth. And this is for the year 2018. Now there are a few other things that you can do once you have the data in this fashion. Is you are able to go in and you're able to look at it based on charts and graphs. So same data now, what you're seeing it as a bar chart. So obviously, even though the data is similar, a bar chart is helpful because it's more easier on the eyes in terms of seeing which one is bigger and which one is smaller. So Balakrishnan is obviously the highest, and it comes down to Selvamurthy. Now let me just change the view and make it a column bar. So since we've ordered it, obviously everything is neatly ordered out here. Again, you can see the same thing based on a pie chart. And a pie chart will tell you more in terms of percentages. So here now you see Balakrishnan is about 21% of this 2018 sales. Rohit Tandon is 20 and Srinivas Rao 19 and so on and so forth. So this is another view of it. There's also lots of other charts out here which is available now, and obviously it's your, once you select your data, then you're able to put them in these different charts and you're able to view the data. Now one thing which to remember in terms of charts is you need to know which chart to use for which type of data. So that's a caveat. So as you go along and as you use mostly the bar charts and pie charts are common ones, but other than that you need to know which ones to use for which type of data. So say for example this is a trend line. Now the trend line is showing here because it's sorted, but it's showing Balakrishnan was the highest and then it's trending down, and Selvamurthy was the lowest in this case. And again, if you click this is called a tree map, and a tree map, the bigger the box, that shows that the sales there was the highest, and then it's coming down. And even here you can actually go ahead and use a pie once again. So what you see is, again, selected your data based on these different dimensions, you bring it in here, and then as you're doing your analysis, you're able to view them by all these different variety of charts, because these charts make life simpler, obviously. And like what we said, we were able to sort them and see top to bottom, and we're able to do the totals. So all these are the different features that you have with regards to when you do these analytics. So let's probably just clear this query again. Okay. Now, essentially the common theme, in terms of whatever I did in terms of this on-demand analytics is, one, you are able to create your own reports like I showed. But the key thing is, what we are trying to do is we are trying to analyze our sales process out here. So when we analyze our sales process, we are trying to actually look at it from different aspects of what makes up your sales process. So, or what affects your sales process. So one is store or customer affects your sales process. So you're able to see the data based on customer. Similarly, salesperson, which is what we saw, affects that sales process. So you're able to go ahead and you're able to measure how that salesperson performed. Similarly, you are able to measure based on the products that got sold. And similarly, you're able to measure based on the orders, number of orders for, again, a given time period, and so on and so forth. And you're able to measure based on the deals that were given. So let's maybe just try and see based on deals. Or select a measure first. Now again, what this has given me, this is for my entire data. This is the way the sales breakup is for all of my different deals. You select year and select your month and select, let's say, filter it out by current year. So what this is showing you is which deals are part of which month. Now this is not really ordered right now. If you want them a little bit more ordered, then maybe we can get it here. Yeah. So now each of these deals you are able to actually compare. That's the kind of information that you're seeing out here. So it's better in these kind of cases. You can actually just zoom into one particular month and then do your cross comparison further. So June, these are actually the different deals and that you'd given, and this was the split up. So again, if you want to see which one was maximum, then you just have to sort descending, maybe on this. So, and you're always able to do the total. So this kind of gives you that no discount was the one with wherein that was the highest sales, and then later on there was 5% discount was the second and 2% was the third. So really the objective is that we pulled out a particular component which makes up your sale process, in this case deal. Previously we pulled out salesperson, and then we looked at how it performs, so to speak of. So we're doing that measure based on how much sales was there based on that particular component, so to speak. So again, this is, I just, to make it simple, I've kind of used one thing at a time, salesperson at a time or deal at a time. Obviously you can, as you go ahead, you'll be looking at things with more dimensions at play. So right now we're looking at it by salesperson. Again, information in terms of for this month, information in terms of what are the different deals that each one of them was involved with. Again, same thing. You have a feature called swap access. So now you're able to see the same information in a slightly different way. So you buy salesperson, then all these different discounts. So as you actually go ahead and play with this product, and you'll be able to use all the different features. Just to again recap or summarize in terms of what is it that we're doing. What we're really doing is we're trying to measure the sales process, and when we're trying to measure the sales process, we're trying to measure it based on all the different components which make up that sales process. Then as you do a measure of this sales process and as you see those different components, this data kind of starts giving you different insights. So based on those different insights, then what you do is you actually correct your real life process. And then, the data based on the changes that you affected. Say, for example, you saw that 2% deals sold more in a particular month or in maybe a certain town. Then maybe you offer 2% deals in another town and then see how your sales picks up out there. So these kinds of things. Or maybe if a salesperson did not perform well in maybe a few months at a stretch, then that kind of gives you a way of maybe going back and trying to find out why that salesperson did not perform well, or things like that. All those different things, the insights that you get as your data actually increases, then you actually start getting even more better insights. So that's one at a top level. When I said product, then you do things at a product level, but you also have certain second level of analytics that you can do. Now, when you take your product, say you had about 200 products out there. Now, in this particular case, I have maybe about 50 or 60 products out here. But say, I have 200 products or 300 products. Then one of the best ways to analyze is you might want to group them and subgroup them. So your products could be different. You may be selling saris, and you may want to group them as maybe pink saris and red saris, and try and see if pink saris sold more in a particular town or red saris sold more in a different town. So your products may be entirely different, but obviously more the products, you have the ability to actually go ahead and group them and do your analytics. So let's see how that grouping concept works out here. So now what you see here is these products were grouped, and these were into the category is beverages. And actually, if you take subcategory further, you see these are the different coffee and tea products. So the grouping is based on coffee and all types of coffee, tea and all types of tea. And you then go ahead and you can do your analysis based on larger group beverages, or you can do it based on the subcategory. It's more like an add-on to the product. So when you have more products, you can group and subgroup them, and then you do your analysis from there. So just to summarize, I've actually covered multiple ways in which you can go ahead and perform sales analysis. Initially, we went through an order, and then we created one dynamic report using an order, and I showed you how to save it. And then we went on, then I showed you the concept of how to do drill through analysis. Then we went ahead with taking one dimension, and I showed you how to export it to an Excel file, and also the ability to export it to a PDF. And then we went ahead and we saw in terms of how to use graphs and charts using that salesperson example. Then I also showed you how to work with 2 dimensions at a time. We took the deal and we also added a salesperson to it. Basically, you were also able to sort any of the data, and you were also able to do some on most of the data. There are also obviously a lot of other features. I didn't go into all of them in that sense. And finally, we saw whenever it's a case where you have a lot of products, then you also have the extra ability of doing groups and subgroups so that you can have a much better analysis in terms of doing grouping and subgrouping of products. So this kind of covers overall, whatever I wanted to show in this demo. So I guess I'll just go ahead and wrap up this presentation for now. So let me log out. Just to recap on the entire Distrib360 product, you saw through part 1 of the demo how we captured the orders and payments information. And using that information, you saw how Distrib360 provides you for a huge array of sales and payments related analytics. You are able to see how your customers performed, you are able to see how your products performed, you are able to see how your salesperson performed, and this you're able to see based on varying time periods, weekly, monthly, yearly, and so on and so forth. It's actually this ability to look at different components of your business and see how they're doing and look at them from all these various angles. That's what will give you deeper insights into how those processes are running. And essentially, those deeper insights will then give you clues on how to actually make course corrections and fine-tune your business process, so to speak of. Now, that's the power of analytics, which you will actually put into use in your business. My personal goal, so to speak of, is, I have actually seen analytics being used in large companies in a big way, and I've seen them use it very successfully. So I would definitely like that smaller companies and small businesses also actually start using the same analytics power and make it a competitive advantage for themselves. So hopefully Distrib360 would be a starting point for many a small business. For those who are interested in knowing more about the Distrib360 product and seeing how it can help you specifically in your business, you can reach me at giri_home@yahoo.com, and then we can touch base after that. Thanks for watching. Bye.